This is Showtime Sean Porter.
This is Aerosmith Jr.
Hey everyone, this is Jesse Vargas.
And you're watching True School Sports.
You're watching True School Sports.
And you're watching True School Sports.
Stay tuned.
Alright, Brendan Taylor here, True School Sports. I'm with Henry Rivalta. How you doing, Henry?
How you doing, buddy?
Good to have you on, man. I've been knowing you for a couple years now. We've been wanting to get you on the channel for a while. You're like you're a big figure here in South Florida boxing. So for people here that are watching this that maybe don't know who you are, could you just inform them about your background in boxing and just what it is you do here at the Heavyweight Factory?
Well, I started in boxing in 2001 with Lou Honey Boy Del Val, former WBA light heavyweight champion of the world, good friend of mine. I was able to work with him and manage him for the first couple of years, and then in 2005 started doing some boxing events here with the former mayor, then at the moment Julio Martinez. Did a few shows with him. Then in 2006 started doing my own shows with Top Level Boxing Promotions, and we were very busy for the next like 6 years here in Florida. Then I took a job over here at the Heavyweight Factory back in 2008 as director of boxing operations. I later moved on to pursue some personal things that I wanted to do with some fighters. Then ended up working over at Equinity Sports, which later turned into Iron Mike Productions. And now I'm back here at the Heavyweight Factory again, working for Mr. Chris Lawrence as his director of boxing operations. And you know, very fortunate to be able to have someone who sees something in me that I do. You know, that I bring something to the table here for the company as far as the events, the talent, just putting it all together, because it's a daily grind, show by show. So this last year we've been able to put on some good events here at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino with our boxing series Rumble at the Rock. And this will be our 5th one of the year, July 12th. And just looking forward to staying busy and putting good boxing on here in South Florida, giving people an opportunity to have a platform to showcase on, like some of the local fighters that we've been able to give a chance to come out to the Hard Rock and showcase their talent.
Absolutely, and you are a busy man, like you said. This will be your 5th card, coming up on July the 12th. What's like, because you're the guy, you do the matchmaking, right? You do the matchmaking, the promoting, all that stuff, right?
Well, I'm the director of boxing. I oversee all the promoting, all the matchmaking, and everything else. My matchmaker is Chico Rivas. He's one of the best in the business. Also a good friend of mine, one of my dear friends in boxing, and you know, Chris Lawrence is the promoter. You need a guy to put it all together, you know? So that's basically what I do.
Okay. What's the biggest like misconception of putting together a boxing show? Because people just see the end product, they don't see the work that goes into it. Like,
well, it's a lot of work that goes into it, from you know, first of all, picking your date, to paying for your date, to making sure you have insurance, ambulances, a DJ, security, police officers, you know, the right coverage, the right promotion, ticket sales, keeping track of all the tickets that you put out on the street and collecting them all back to a T. Table sales, VIP ringside rows, then matching the fights, making some good matches on the last show that we had. We had a 12-fight show, which was a little bit too long for my taste, but 10 out of the 12 matches went the distance. So it's a hats off to the matchmaking that we put together here at the Heavyweight Factory. You know, we like to put on real fights, no lopsided, one-sided fights, and we've been seeing that as we've come along. There's a lot of work that's entailed to doing our promotion. So
yeah, what made you want to be like a promoter? Because, you know, people want to be world champions, people want that part of the job, but what makes you want to get into this part of boxing?
Well, you know, I started boxing in 2001. I never knew I was going to end up staying in boxing. But you know, I have an old friend that says if you were in boxing for more than 10 years, you're in boxing for life, you know. And he could be right. You know, we never know what life holds. But like I said, I've been fortunate to, you know, always land on my feet and work with good individuals that I've been able to learn from and expand my career as far as knowledge is concerned in the boxing business, from the overall of the business, from A to Z. You know, that's I pride myself in understanding the business, the legalities of it, and knowing I could be in a room with any of the top people that speak boxing and be able to understand the lingo.
Absolutely. Your focus is obviously, I know, putting on the big shows here in South Florida, but is there a desire to maybe like, or want to go to like the world level, or maybe take a fighter and take him to, you know, like bigger fights, or just is it just South Florida boxing?
Oh no, definitely not at all. You know, I've had the privilege to have worked with Louis de Cubas Jr. for many years. You know, and we did a deal with some of the former fighters that I represented with PBC, with Al Haymon, who's really tops right now. You know, what Al does for his fighters is amazing. You know what I mean? He makes his fighters, he takes them where they need to be. He makes sure they get paid like they should get paid.
Yeah.
And you know, you're looking at guys who sacrifice it all on the line, and then they got an advisor like Al, who really rolls out the red carpet for them and treats them with class. And that's why I think there's a lot of fighters who have a hard time leaving Al Haymon and Showtime to go to this new platform with Dazn.
Yeah,
no disrespect to Dazn.
Absolutely. You mentioned Al Haymon, you know, and for someone like myself and many other people who are just boxing fans who, you know, watch the sport, we don't really see Al Haymon or, you know, hear from him. What is he like, and what exactly would you say he does for his fighters that separates him from all the other promoters?
Well, what he's like, I'd be the wrong guy to answer that.
Okay.
Because I've never had the privilege to really sit and talk with Al.
Okay.
I have met him, and I spoke with him one time on the phone through a mutual friend of ours that we've done business with fighters before. But that would be the wrong question for me. The right question would be your second question, what I see he does for his fighters. I see he does everything for his fighters. He puts them on a platform that they need to be on, you know. He'll start them even when they're don't have the greatest records. They're on the prelims, on the FS1, you know, FS2 cards are on the prelims, and then you see as they start growing and they start rising to the occasion, then, you know, they're on bigger stages, you know. Look what he did for Earl Spence, you know what I mean? He took a kid out of, you know, out of the amateurs who was destined to be a superstar, but he made him a superstar. And now he's fighting in Dallas, Texas, in Cowboy Stadium, and he's hanging out having lunch with Jerry Jones, you know. That's what Al Haymon does for his fighters. He puts them, he catapults them, you know.
Yeah.
So I have the utmost respect for Al and PBC and everybody that works in the organization over there. I think they've done a hell of a job for, you know, the talent that's out there. And if you look at all the welterweight division, they control it, they own it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one of the hottest divisions that there is, you know. And I mean, there's two major players right now, which is Al, you know, well, there's three, Al and Top Rank, with the ESPN platform that they have now, which, you know, they're also friends of mine. Good people, very professional. You know, Brad Goodman has a good eye for talent. Him and Bruce Tramper, I think, are
some of the best in the
biz. Some
biz.
of the best matchmakers in the business, if not the best. And they got the ultimate experience. And having a platform like ESPN makes it so much, you know, it's favorable. You get to work and put your guys on TV and then see your product evolve. You know, and then you got, on the other coin, you have Eddie Hearn with this DAZN deal. You know what I mean? And I don't even know how that's going to play out. You know, I don't know much about it. I'm not so much of an internet guy and an app guy myself. I like to see the fights on television on my big screen at home, and I've been used to watching Showtime and HBO for years, so it might be kind of hard, but depending on what fight comes up, if I want to see it, I might order it, you know what I mean? I got no problem paying them the $9 a month or whatever it is. I heard it went up now.
Yeah, they went up from $9.99 to now it's $19.99 a month, or you can pay $100 for the whole year if you want. Which is not bad, because they got some really good fights coming up, you know.
Well, $100 for the whole year is probably better, you know what I mean? Because you'd waste that on a pay-per-view fight anyway. But yeah, I mean, definitely, like, I know that world is, I don't know if the world is ready for that streaming app technology, but I know that app technology and the streaming world
it's going towards
is going towards that, is ready for the people to embrace it. You know, however, there is still a lot of old school people that like the old school way of watching the boxing.
I feel you.
I'm one of them.
I know. What was like the best fight you think you put on, or the one that gave you the most satisfaction?
Man, there's been so many of them. You know, there's been so many of them. You know, if you think back, I did a fight here with. We did a fight back in 2007 or 8, which was Brad Solomon against Demetrius Hopkins on ESPN. That was a real good fight. We did Oliver McCall and Timur Ibragimov across the street. We did Oliver McCall and Freza Kendo across the street. And that was a real controversial decision on that fight. I mean, there's been great fights across the street, man. You know, all the local talent that we promote right now. You know, we have Derek Cuevas, who's 20-0 of Puerto Rico. Ivan Navarro of Cuba, who's 10-0 right now. We just signed Haron El Mahaso Carras, who's 21-0, and he's a top prospect. He's ready to make some good moves. You know, we have two-time Olympic silver medalist Ivan Ditchko, who's 9-0.
Very talented heavyweight.
11-0 on Fight Facts. We got Musa Tursingalev, who's 10-0. We have Irosvani Duvergel, who's another Cuban Olympian. You know, he medaled gold in, I think it was in the Junior Olympics, but he had an extreme, you know, a beautiful amateur career. Duvergel, they call him Kasimba. Real exciting, action-packed fighter. You know, Logan Yoon.
Yeah, I was going to ask about him. Yeah,
he's 15-0 right now. He's only 20 years old.
Fantastic fighter.
One of the best prospects out there, in my humble opinion. And you know, Logan is just, he's head and shoulders above the rest because of the way he carries himself as a young man. You know what I mean? I never met a 20-year-old man who's like him. You know what I mean? He's just a great kid. Inside and out of the ring, he's just amazing.
Absolutely. I want to ask you this because, you know, you've been in boxing for so long. You seem to be going in a good direction with all those fights across the street, you know, the Rumble at the Rock series. What's like the end goal for Henry Rivalta and just you and your boxing career? What do you want out of this?
You know, I've had the chance to work with a few world champions. You know, I was with Argeni Mendes when he became a world champion. I was with Juan Carlos Payano from his pro debut until he became a world champion, defended the world title, beat Rashi Warren, defended it again, lost to Rashi Warren. You know, I was with him when we went to Japan, when he lost to Naoya Inoue. And, you know, just I want to develop a few more world champions before I go. I want to be able to say that I guided their careers and you know, change their lives, because that's really what it's about, you know, changing their lives.
Okay. Any message to the boxing fans about what you guys got going on here at the Heavyweight Factory?
At South Florida, support South Florida boxing. You know, for years we've been giving you guys tickets to come out and see what we do, you know. Get behind what we do, come out, support the events, bring your people. The more people that come out and support South Florida boxing, the better it'll be for the boxing community. Support your local amateur program, your Florida Golden Gloves program, because these kids are the future of boxing, and they're looking up to each and every one of you guys for support, for hope, for understanding. So let's try to understand what they want to do and their path to becoming a pro from the amateurs, and support it all the way through, you know, and try to just to bring South Florida boxing back here to the way it used to be in the 80s, you know what I mean, where people actually gave a shit about boxing.
Yeah.
You know, right now there's a lot of people who don't care about boxing, you know, and I know MMA was a big fad for a long time. It's still very strong, you know, in the community. The UFC is the UFC. What Dana White did, I think a lot of people try to copy, you know, his format.
I think Al Haymon tried to do it, to be honest with you.
Well, but Al Haymon didn't try to do it. Al Haymon did it. I think Al Haymon, you know, has the game on lock. I don't think he tried to do anything. I think he masterminded the game. You know what I mean? He's got all the best fighters. You know, he's got the most resourceful people working for him as far as knowledge is concerned. You know, they got a bunch of knowledgeable people over there. They got good promoters that they work with in TGB, Tom Brown, who I know personally, great promoter. Leon Margulies from Warriors Boxing, you know what I mean? Do a lot of work with Mayweather Promotions. You know, they got a great crew over there.
DeBella Entertainment.
DeBella was another good friend of mine for many years. I got the utmost respect for Lou DeBella. I actually think Lou DeBella is probably one of the smartest men in boxing, period. Definitely one of the most knowledgeable ones, you know?
Yeah.
He'll call me from time to time to ask me who I think is going to win a fight. But, yeah, I think Lou does a hell of a job over there at the Barclays Center, you know, and with the PBC powerhouse behind these guys, I mean, sky's the limit. And that's basically what it, you know, boxing is about, is creating world champions and, you know, working together. We've been doing that now. We've been working together doing these shows with All-Star Boxing, my dear friend Tutu Zavala, and Ruben De Jesus, and I think it's a nice combination. You know, I think it balances itself out. We've seen great fights across the street. We've had a great turnout. This last event, we filled up that event center. It was 3,500 seats. I think it was 3,380 that were sold, so it was like 100 seats left in the house.
It was on Telemundo, right? It was
on Telemundo. So that was pretty good, you know. So hopefully July 12th will be a complete sellout, where we can't sell another ticket. That's, you know, that's the goal for now. And just develop our guys, man. Bring them up to, you know, bring them up the ranks and put them in real competitive fights. We want our guys to fight we don't want to, you know, sugarcoat any fights. Obviously, you got to build a fighter when you believe in their talent. There's no need to check under the hood.
No.
If you don't believe in it, then you do that in the first or second fight. Check under the hood off the bat.
Yeah.
But if you know what you got, and you think you have, you know, a good enough clinical eye to be able to compete with the talent that's, you know, that's been out there, I mean, sky's the limit, man. You know, sky's the limit. There's great fighters out there, you know,
From every part of the world, you know.
in every part of the world. You know, there's a lot of good fighters, you know, that came out of Florida too. You know, that were almost right there and had a little setback, but they'll be back there again. You know, kids like Erickson Lubin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lubin was a great prospect. You know, is still a great prospect, and is gonna be a world champion. You know what I mean? That's written. You know, this kid, you know, breathes boxing since he was little, and you know, he's a great kid. I wish him and his team the best always. You know, even though I'm not with him, I got the utmost love for him, and you know, and I want to see him do really well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. From a promoter standpoint, you know, there was a big controversy that happened in boxing recently, for boxing fans at least. Deontay Wilder was offered a lot of money to go fight Anthony Joshua on DAZN. He turned it down. A lot of people are mad with him about that. From the promoter standpoint, like, what do you think about him turning that deal down?
Deontay Wilder's a badass, and he turned the deal down because he's got some fucking loyalty, which is what a lot of these fighters are missing in boxing. A little bit of a backbone and some loyalty. So yeah, you know, they could wiggle the big carrot in front of him and show him all the hundreds of millions of dollars now, but where was that money when he was coming up? And who was there for him when he was coming up on Showtime? Who was building him, making him that bronze bomber on Showtime Championship Boxing? You know, it was Showtime, Steven Espinoza, with his main man, Al Haymon, Deontay Wilder's main man. That's the guy who took care of him. That's the guy who looked out for him. So that's who he has to show loyalty to. So what do I say about Deontay Wilder? I tip my hat off to him. You know what I mean? I think he already fought the toughest guy, which was Luis Ortiz. You know, Luis came up a little short. I'd like to see that fight again.
It'd be a good fight.
You know, because that was a fight that people wanted to see. You know, I'd be curious to see the numbers of how many people really watched that one. And then the Tyson Fury fight, I'd like to see that fight again too. You know what I mean? Before I want to see him and Joshua. You know what I mean? I think maybe the Joshua's people might want to see him and Joshua more than everybody else might want to see him and Joshua. I think right now they want to see Deontay and Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? That would be a good one to run back. You know, or Tyson Fury. I mean, Deontay Wilder. You know, I think that his fight now with Dominic Brazil, I think he's going to be dominant. You know, you can't like count out Dominic Brazil, but I don't think that Dominic Brazil is going to beat Deontay Wilder, to be honest with you. There's no disrespect to Dominic. I think he's a great fighter. You know, I followed him as an amateur. I know
come a long way.
His professional career, he's come a long way, you know. And I'm happy for him that he got this shot, you know. But Deontay Wilder says something to fighters that they don't really understand. He says, I blessed you
With the opportunity.
And he's right. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. You don't have to fight them. You didn't have to fight Ortiz. He could have picked anybody else in the top 15 and said, I'll fight. This is my optional fight. Not Ortiz. It's a dangerous southpaw. He said, you guys want Ortiz? We'll fight Ortiz. You know? So, and now he's blessing Dominic Brazil. I know there's some kind of bad blood between them. Yeah,
they had an incident a couple years ago.
Yeah, I read about it. I didn't really get into it too much, but I read about it. And, you know, sometimes when you piss people off, you never know what's going to happen the night of the fight. So I'm expecting a mean Deontay Wilder to come out, you know? We'll see what happens. But I think Deontay Wilder wins this fight. I'd like to see him fight Ortiz again. I'd like to see him fight Fury again. And then eventually I'd like to see him fight Joshua again, you know?
Yeah. So I guess the argument for a lot
they can't talk about Joshua fighting
Wilder
right now because they got Big Baby in the way.
Yeah,
you know
they
what
do.
I mean?
They do.
You can't count out Big Baby. He's from Brooklyn, you know. He's a New Yorker. He's tough as hell. So first let them beat Big Baby, and then after he beats Big Baby, they can see what's on next on deck for him. You know what I mean? Just like Wilder, he's not going to talk about his next fight until he beats Dominic Brazil. You know?
Absolutely.
But from what I've heard about Wilder, I had the chance to meet him over, I think it was in the Full Sail Arena a couple years back. I had Erickson Lubin fighting on that a Warriors boxing card that they did out there, and who was fighting? Malik? Was it Malik
Scott?
Yeah, I think it could have been Malik Scott. I know he's good friends with him, and he was there to support him, and I had the chance to meet him there. You know, it was during a real rough patch of my life, and You know, I got the utmost respect for Wilder. I think he's a classy champion. You know what I mean? I always see him take pictures, shaking hands, and doing what he's got to do as a champion. And I wish him the best. I know his manager, JD's, and you know, and he's also in his corner. And Jay's a classy guy too. You know, one of those people that you want to do business with. You know, there's never going to be a. If he says it's green, it's green. When you show up, it isn't red. You know.
I feel you.
So. Good guys in boxing, man. Al Haymon's got probably the best stable in boxing right now. Yeah. Then after him, Top Rank, and then after him, Eddie Hearn. That's probably the way it would go. You know, you can't count out Golden Boy too.
No,
Golden Boy always finds a way to hang in there and scrap, and they always done big things. I mean, they got a great cast over there with Eric and Robert. You know, Robert
Gomez,
Robert, you know, I know him for years. He's an excellent matchmaker too, and Oscar's got a good cast over there too. You know,
he's got the everybody's
got their crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
all right.
I think Mayweather Promotions is a hell of a promotional company too. I love what Mayweather does for his fighters. You know what I mean? He makes them millionaires, bro, and that's what it's all about. Changing the kids' lives financially so they can provide for their families. You know what I mean? Because boxing doesn't last forever.
No, you got a short window to make money.
You know, there's only one money Mayweather. Everybody wants to be Mayweather, fight like Mayweather, act like Mayweather. Even people in his own stable, but they can't do it.
They don't have a skill set, really. They don't have a skill set or work ethic.
Some of them have the skill set, but Mayweather, not only does he have the skill set, he's got the experience, he's got the talent, he puts in the hard work. You know what I mean? Man, I've heard how Mayweather trains. It's like amazing. You know, you'd never think that even a guy that's conquered so much and done so much, undefeated fighter like himself, would still work so hard like that. You know what I mean? They got a good crew over there too with Leonard and you know, Kenny Craig, and I mean, they got a good staff, and there's a lot of good companies out there, a lot of good boxing entities. You know?
Yeah, there is.
We're just working hard over here from our humble little spot in Miami, Florida, and trying to do the best we can. You know, stay focused, stay in our lane. Don't step on anybody's toes or on the way, and that's the advice I can give everybody in boxing. Stay in your lane.
That's it. That's what I'm doing. Just holding the camera, asking you questions, and enjoying myself while I'm doing it.
That's why I'm doing it with you, because I've seen you working hard here in South Florida. You know, interviewing all the fighters and all the people, and this is our first interview.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing you for a bunch of years already. You know.
The first time I stepped in this gym was late 2015, when Briggs fought Marone across the street for the big event when they had all the heavyweights there.
Yeah, the heavyweight reunion.
Yeah.
That was something that was amazing.
They never put out, like, I remember I heard they did like a documentary or something like that, and they never put it out. I was waiting for that. What is it?
They did put it out.
Oh, they did put it out.
Shared it.
Oh, okay. That's dope.
It's coming. It's coming. We're you know, Chris is working some big things with that, and
I wanted to see it.
Some of that, so we're gonna soon there'll be something there. I can't disclose it to anybody just yet, but it's coming. You know, I mean, that was something that's never been done. You know, to reunite all the former world champions across the street. You know, it was a real honor to even be able to be in the room with all those guys. You know,
at one time.
So we had the pleasure of working the show, making sure we called every single person. You know, getting them here and coordinating, making sure that we're all right, and you know, those guys gave us so many good years of boxing. You know what I mean? So when you got Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, Shannon Briggs, all these heavyweights in one. Klitschko's, I mean, everybody. You got them all there. You're like, wow, you know, what do? You know?
Yeah.
If you look at the picture over there,
there it is.
Michael Moore, they got them all there. You know, Tony Tucker.
All these guys are in the documentary, right? Like all these guys, it was like you have
every single one.
It's Michael Moore.
Layman Brewster is one of the guys that guy is amazing, man. He's an amazing former world champion. He's a great person. You know, he works for Premier Boxing Champions. He does a lot of stuff for PBC, for Al. But Layman Brewster is the bomb. He's a good, really good-hearted person. You know.
He seemed nice when I saw him there. You know, Larry Holmes was also there too. I love Larry Holmes. Probably my favorite heavyweight.
One of the best jabs in the heavyweight division back then. You know, it's a beast. You know, the heavyweight division back then was different. You know what I mean? It was a monstrous division, and it looks like it might get there one day soon again. You know, we got a lot of good up and coming fighters on the horizon. You
Yeah.
got Tony Yoka, you got Philip Ergovich, you got
Dan Dubois.
yeah,
Joe
Danny
Joyce.
Dubois, Joe Joyce. You got Ivan Ditchko. You know, so we'll see what happens in the next few years. You know, and Joshua's still young. He'll be reigning there for a minute, I think. You know.
We got Fury, Wilder.
You know, there's a lot of good fighters, bro, right now in the heavyweight division. So I'm just hoping it stays exciting, you know, and people continue to work hard. And like I said, we got to build our amateur programs, because our amateur programs, that's how we develop our future champions. You know what I mean? You used to look back in the Olympics in the 80s, you know, and you'd say, wow, you know, we'd medal every which way but loose. And now it's like,
We're happy we get one medal.
yeah, we're happy if we get one medal, if it's a bronze or a silver. Even, you know what I mean? So we need to develop a couple more Olympic gold medalists, I think. And I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that because there's a gold medalist that they're going to be a good professional fighter. You know what I mean? We used some examples earlier. We won't mention names.
Yeah, we're talking.
Former, you know, Olympic gold medalist that got flattened. You know, so you never know. Look at Riddick Bowe. You know, he didn't win the gold. You know, but he's the heavyweight with the cleanest record, you know, in boxing, 43-1, you know, so I give him that, you know. That's another guy who works here who's
You love Bo.
I love Bo. He's dear to my heart, you know. He's a bully, but I love him. He don't bully me, but he bullies everybody else.
Yeah,
Only when it's lunchtime.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He's a great person. You know, he gave us so many good years of boxing outside the ring, and I mean inside the ring, and now outside the ring, he's like, you know, he's become a friend. You know, we're more or less the same age, Bo and I, and you know, we work together, so we're work comrades, and you know, I'm blessed to be around this place and be around people like Chris Lawrence and, you know, Riddick Bowe. I get to see a lot of good people that come through here, you know, Joe Brown, Lenny Moore, Vander Holyfield, you know, good people like yourself.
Thank you.
So this is, you know, Kelly, who works here with me, who I drive her crazy all the time. But yeah, you know, it's all about finding a spot for yourself somewhere in the business where you feel at home, you feel relaxed, you feel confident in your abilities to be able to work and develop fighters and make something happen. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. Just work hard as I can, develop fighters and make something good happen. See if we can't make a world champion or two out of the heavyweight factory.
There you go. All right, well, Henry, it's been a pleasure having you. Hopefully
Thank you, guys.
have you on again soon, maybe in a month or so.
True School Sports,
Yeah.
#1.
Number one. Thank you, Henry.